Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your ever-loving host, Alex Costas, and today's episode is... I apologise for not doing an episode last week. I'll cover off why I didn't do that as well, but this week's episode is about sort of gratitude and also, as you can see, announcing a giveaway. I'm still deciding what it is that I'm going to give away first. I had a very, very big milestone in the last 2 weeks, one that I'm very surprised by. So we'll go over that stuff as well and just talk about what's been going on generally in my life and how I'm feeling and all that sort of stuff, as we usually do. First and foremost, let's get all the fun stuff out of the way. If you want to, you can contact me via email at doncostas@gmail.com. That's D-O-N for Nike, C-O-S-T-A-S @gmail.com. You can also find my website, costasenterprises.business.blog. Alternatively, you can also find me on Twitter, in the MetaMask Discord, and also at Instagram, all at the Kiwi Don as well. So let's get into the fun stuff, shall we? First and foremost, why am I going to be talking about a little bit of gratitude? Well, I am grateful for you. On Monday this week, I was shocked to have a look at my my podcast and see that on Monday alone I had 402 listens to my podcast. That means that now, thank you to everyone that has listened, I am now sitting at over 2,100 listeners or listens in my podcast. That blows my mind. That literally blows my mind. 402 on one day. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't think there was a glitch. I'm hoping there's no glitch. But yeah, I was sitting at about, close to 1,700 listens. And yeah, now I'm at 2,100 listens. I'm stunned. I'm shocked. I'm in awe. And it's all because of you. So thank you. Like, honestly, I know I say it every week and it may get a little bit, a little bit repetitive, but truly, thank you so much for listening. If you are a regular listener, you will know that this is my chance to basically vent. This is my chance to get my problems out. I talk about what's going on with my life. I talk about what I've gone through. I talk about what's helped me. This podcast is kind of like my way of thinking through things, but at the same time, it's my way of actually helping people as well. I don't expect much from anybody. I know I've got a paid subscription, and if you want to, you can click the link and have a look at it. It's about 99 cents a month. I'm never going to force anybody to pay for it. But truly, just seeing that stat, seeing that number, hitting that milestone of 2,000 listens. I've only been doing this since, I'm on my 92nd episode, today. I mean, I'm still in awe. I was never expecting this podcast to be heard by anybody, let alone over 2,100 people have listened to this, or instances where someone has listened to my podcast. It means a lot. It truly means a lot. And I've talked about gratitude before in one of my episodes. Gratitude has helped me a lot recently. I've been on a bit of a spiritual journey the last couple of weeks. As you guys are aware, my partner has left and gone back home to her home country. And while we speak every day, her not being here, not next to me, not with me, has been very hard. There's also other things that have happened in my life, as I've talked about in my other previous podcast episodes. My main boss, who's basically been with me for like 4.5 years, 5 years almost, who's helped shape me to the man that I am in my professional life as well as in my personal life as well. Also moved on to greener pastures, shall we say, and all happened within about 2 weeks. I found it very hard, and I've sort of needed to recenter myself, and so I've listened to a couple of self-help books recently, trying my best not to fall off the wagon. And now that my partner's not here, I've worried about being that guy that goes back to his negative behaviours, goes back to his bad ways. And yes, there have been instances where I've had a little bit of that, but to the full degree, I've tried my best to stick with what it is that we're doing, stick with what it is that I've been doing. And I can only do that because of the gratitude that I feel, the gratitude that I want to show and want to give back. I've been trying to sort of make these podcast episodes pretty regular. Usually I try to do one a week. The reason why, I talked about the reason why I didn't do one last week was it was very close to the 21st anniversary of my father passing away. Over the last couple of years, I've taken it a lot harder when it comes closer to my dad's passing. A lot of it is guilt. I have felt guilt that I didn't, grieve properly at the time when I should have. And unfortunately, that means that I have to process those feelings. And I like to think you guys might know me pretty well by now, and I've talked about me previously not really processing those feelings, and sort of doing what most men do, which is push it aside, don't talk about it, don't address it. And since I was going to the psychotherapist, I kind of have brought that stuff to light, and it means the last couple of years it's really hit me. Last year was pretty hard for 20 years without Dad. This year almost felt like it hit a little bit harder. The reason for that is simply because 21 years is usually when you turn 21, you become, in New Zealand culture, you become a man or you become a woman. It's the day you become an adult officially, even though there's nothing actually saying that is the day and all that sort of things. It's the day you get the key and all that sort of things. And my dad never made it to my 21st birthday. I remember when that happened, I felt really, really down and really, depressed, but I put on my brave face because I thought that's what you had to do. And so 21 has always been synonymous with my dad because it's, I wanted him there for my 21st. I wanted him to believe that I'd grown up to be a good man, that I was a man. And I've held on to that. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. That's just one of those things that I have always felt. And 21 years on, since he's passed, it's made me think more about, am I the kind of man that he wanted me to grow up to be? The big one for me, which is part of the reason why I didn't record a podcast, was it depressed me quite a bit. It was actually whether or not he was proud of who I was, whether or not I felt I was good enough to be his son. Now, I know, yes, I was good enough to be his son, but never having that closure, that's always been hard. And now that I sort of look at my feelings and try to acknowledge them and actually try to use my feelings for good and think about them for good, it has been very, very hard because of that exact reason. I never got the closure that I grew up to be the man that he wanted me to be. I don't know if he was ever proud of me. I mean, growing up, I was never the model child. I wasn't exactly a badass or anything like that, but, you know, I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. I didn't take interest in some of the things that I wish I had now. My dad loved cameras and loved photography. I love cameras, I love photography, but not to the degree that Dad does. And I always felt like he wanted to pass that on to his son. Never got a chance to. And I never sort of forgave myself for not having that time with Dad when he tried to teach me. He tried to pass on his hobby, his love to me. And yeah, that's always been a sore sort of thing that I've been thinking. And of course, you guys know, I don't say this to anybody. This is all stuff that I keep inside, and this is literally the first time I'm talking about it. But I sort of came to the realization that while I may not be the man that he would have wanted me to grow up to be, I do think he would have been proud of me now, especially with doing the things that I'm doing now. And I know I should, you know, I tell people, you know, well, you shouldn't care what people think about you, but it's a little bit different when it's your parents. It's also a little bit different when that parent isn't there, because those feelings will always be there. And, you know, it would almost be easier if he was there to say, no, I'm not proud of you. Or, you know, because there's always that doubt. There's always that effect of not having closure, not having anybody there to go, you know what? Yeah, no, you were good enough. And my dad was very old-fashioned. He never said, you know, very often, he never said, I love you. I used to say it to him almost every night. In fact, it was the last words I ever said to him was, I love you, when I was leaving the car. Which, I mean, it's not the worst way to say goodbye to your dad, but, you know, at the same time, it's very hard to know whether or not he did actually think I was, you know, a worthy son in those later years, because, you know, I was spending time playing around and doing fuck all and having jokes and not really being the best student, not really taking, you know, anything seriously, which hurt me personally, because, you know, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would tell my younger self, look, mate, start focusing on your school, start focusing on those classes that you didn't think you needed. Yeah. And so, yeah, that doubt is always going to be there. That feeling is always going to be there that I'm not, you know, in his eyes, was I ever good enough? Was I ever strong enough? You know, as I said, he was a very old-fashioned man. Like, he would have been 82 this year, which is, you know, the year I was born. So there's all these sort of numbers and numerology and stuff that goes around. And so 21 has always been that for me, because it's like he never got to be there for my 21st. He never got to say, I'm proud of you, or, you know, you are my son, you are a man. And I've held on to that. I know I've held on to that. And so it did hurt quite a bit. I know last year on the day it was 20 years, I said it, because I record my podcasts usually on a Thursday, not a Friday. And yeah, I recorded it, and this time I just felt a bit too vulnerable, and I didn't want to. I wanted to honour him, but at the same time, I didn't want to share it until I'd had a chance to process a bit more, process a bit better. And I do feel like I have processed that now. There's always going to be that doubt that I talked about, always in my mind. I could be the next, I could be the next Elon Musk, make billions of dollars, and be super successful and super smart and all sorts of things. But because he was never there, I'll never be able to say, yes, I'm sure he was proud of me. You know what? That's probably something for counsellors to unpick with me at a later date. But yeah, just for now, that is how I'm feeling. That is what I do feel. But yeah, I do like to think that I would have been and would still be, especially in my later years, these last couple of years, I think he would have been proud of me now, even if to start off with I wasn't much to be proud of and I was a bit of a disappointment to him. It's a little bit hard when, I can't really talk to mum about this stuff because, I am a mama's boy, and in her eyes, her boy could, does nothing wrong. Her boy, is always fine and well and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit hard in that respect because you can't usually use that as your, as your basis. But yeah, it is what it is. As I said before, this is me using this podcast to sort my feelings out, sort my emotions out. And even if you're listening, and I apologise if you're like, oh God, why does this guy shut up about his feelings all the time? Well, sorry that you're in for a fun time when it comes to these sorts of times and this sort of period as well. So yeah, that was pretty much why I was MIA last week, and also a little bit yesterday as well. Like, it's been very busy at work, and I just felt like I couldn't record. But then when I saw I had all the followers and I had all the support from you guys, because that's what it is. Like, it is support. My last episode had 17 listens. 17. It's crazy. For usually my episodes, like, in 1 week, that's the most I've ever had in 1 week. So I know it was all Teespring related and all that sort of stuff, and that might have been the reason why. But yeah, I truly am grateful for all of you that do listen. Even if you only listen to one episode every so often, even if you've only listened to one episode total, at the end of the day, like, everything that you guys do helps me so much. And it's just by listening. You guys are literally listening. If you did want to contact me, you have my contact details. You know that stuff. And because of that, I am 8 episodes away from 100. For my 100th episode, I want to do a questions and answers / giveaway. I tried this before. I didn't really get any entries, so I had to cancel it. So I'm still deciding the prizes, but what I'm thinking is, you guys have helped me get quite a bit of stuff. I'm a big proclaimer of MetaMask's NFTs. One of the things I'm thinking of doing is minting an NFT and specifically a MetaMask one, and gifting that to the winner. I don't know how I'm going to organise this first. If that person wants an NFT, a MetaMask NFT, they can. They will be able to get passive and all that sort of stuff. I'll work out all the details first, whether or not I do that. It depends on, or if people would like a sort of a one-on-one session, 2-hour session with me, talking about their CVs, their cover letters, or passive income, or just in general want to talk and let me know. Or they could get like maybe $100 or $200 worth of stuff from my Redbubble store. I'm still deciding. I mean, it's the big 100. I did not think I was going to make it past 20 episodes, let alone close to 100 episodes. So yeah, I'll try to work out, and I'll give you an exact on next episode. I'll sort of discuss the giveaway a bit more. I'll figure out exactly what I'm going to do, and how you guys can actually win. But as for that, thank you for listening. I truly mean that. Like 2,000 listens is yeah, I'm in awe. So thank you. As always, I love you guys very much. You are my whānau, you are my family, and I appreciate you. And until next week, I love you and good luck.